Welcome back into the 143. We are here with you under review, episode 40, ladies and gentlemen.
That's right. We have made it to the big 4-0.
We are 12 weeks away from a year.
That's
Counting
a close
down.
one.
Well, Nick and I, see, the thing is, Nick and I are counting down to the 52nd episode because we're going to go out and celebrate when that 52nd one comes out. Just a year
on
of
our
hard
1
work.
year anniversary.
We've made some serious progress in a year. I challenge y'all to go back. Actually, don't go back, but just know that our first episode,
Just think about the first
sound
episode
quality
that you watched.
was something.
And the video quality. I feel like
just everything.
the video quality from episode 1 to now
we've
better.
made some significant improvements.
We have
I
made some
think.
changes. We have grown.
We have grown.
For sure. I think for the better. I think where we are at now is the best that it has ever been.
Absolutely. And this is a team effort, so I appreciate everything that you've contributed, Nick.
And I appreciate everything that you have contributed.
And I have to say a brief thing before we start, just to our listeners, our viewers everywhere. Go vote, okay? Election time's coming up. Be involved in your country and go vote. And no, that was not specially requested for me to tell that by somebody else. Just kidding, it was. Somebody said I should mention voting in our podcast just because it's a patriotic thing to do. And are we not Americans?
Can I ask who that was?
No, you can't.
I have a guess.
No, you can't ask
Okay,
who that
well
was.
then,
All right.
that tells me I know exactly who it is.
Okay, moving into the content for this week. Also, by the way, the voting thing is not just me, though, because the NFL is also putting that out there. Vote.org. So go look that up. Go vote, guys, for the right people, okay? But this is not a political podcast, so let's get into football. So, obviously, just another week in the NFL went by. So we're going to talk about that, and we'll start us off with the stat of the week, brought to you by Andrews Logistics, our wonderful sponsor. The stat is that Tennessee beat Alabama this weekend in a shocking upset down in old Knoxville. And it was a field goal at the last second. It was the probably worst kicked field goal I might have ever seen.
Yeah, he kicked a little knuckler.
I'm not sure how it went in, but it did, and they won. And that is the first time in 15 years that Tennessee has beaten Alabama. And I want to say maybe was the last time it happened with Peyton or after that? Peyton Manning?
I think it was after that.
It was after that? Okay.
Because the last time they beat him was like in 07, I think.
Yeah. Okay. Anyways, it's the first time in 15 years. Good job, Tennessee.
In light of that, your player of the week is Jalen Hyatt. He put on a stellar clinic last Saturday with 6 receptions for 207 yards and 5 touchdowns.
That is a beast mode stat right there, ladies and
I
gentlemen.
mean, low-key kind of put the team on his back for like a good bit of it.
It was like long touchdown play after long touchdown play from that guy.
Yes.
I was impressed. He has some wheels. I'd never even heard of him before. Also, I did not know this, but Hooker, the quarterback for Tennessee, told to me last night by our boy Matthew Hammond, or Matty Ice as we like to call him. Hooker's like 25 years old.
I did not know that. That was news to me.
So
I didn't realize that we had
Yeah.
a man out there playing with
So
children.
no wonder he's in the Heisman front runnings right now. He's been in college football
He's been
for
in
like
college
5 years.
for
So, hey, congrats to him. We love to see Bama go down. A&M couldn't do it the week before because, let's face it, we are terrible this year. But it was nice to see them lose. Good job to Tennessee. Way to end that drought.
Very high-scoring game. It was pretty exciting to watch.
It's kind of
'cause
like a
it
Big
was
12
just
game.
touchdown after touchdown.
But we are not here to talk about college football today.
We just had to light up that one particular
That was a great
spot
game.
of the weekend.
Yes. We had to give our boy some credit.
Give the credit where it's due.
But let's talk about the NFL, Nick. Let's jump into it. A very sad week for us as Cowboys fans because we lost to the Eagles, which is so annoying. I can't even tell you how annoying it is, but I'm going to because this is a podcast and that's what we do. But it hurt. I don't know. I wasn't too high on the fact that
I'm not impressed with the Eagles. I have to
Yeah.
be completely honest with you. I mean, the second quarter, if that goes any differently, the Cowboys win the game, right?
I think the Eagles have shown
they are not a second half team.
they're not a second half team.
They got 20 points in the second quarter. So if our defense doesn't just, I don't know, they were for some reason just non-existent
In the second
quarter. If that doesn't happen, then the Cowboys very well win.
That's not even just against us. The Eagles consistently have scored tons
you
of
can
points
look
in the
at,
first
you
half.
can look at the game against the Commanders and the game against the Jaguars. It's the same thing. Like, they have not been very productive in the second half.
They apparently have a really easy schedule this year. So you might not get to see them play in a lot of tough games, but I think once we hit playoff, I mean, the Eagles will make the playoffs, but maybe once, I don't even know. The NFC is so bad. Like, the Bucks lost to the Steelers.
Yeah,
this
it was
week.
kind
The
of up and
Rams
down. It was
almost
weird.
lost to the Panthers with PJ Walker as
The
their
Jets beat
quarterback.
the Packers.
The Jets did. I love
in
that.
Lambeau.
I love that.
I loved that, but
Give me some more.
I was very surprised.
I was
because,
shocked.
I mean, I don't know. The Jets have just never been them.
It's an interesting year. The Jets are 4-2. The Giants are 5-1. Weirdly, Nick, I have to ask you this. We are 6 weeks into the season.
Mm-hmm.
What team so far has disappointed you the most?
I am going to have to say, so actually, it's funny because 3 teams come to mind, and
Okay.
they are all 3 in the same division.
All right.
But the one team that I am going to go with is the Raiders.
Really? No,
Yes.
yeah, the Raiders are
Sitting at a 1-4.
That's embarrassing.
Okay. I mean, they started worse than they did last year, and
And they added Devontae Adams.
the roof was set so high for them. Like, the bar is way up here for them after getting Devontae Adams, and they have just not.
And he's been producing.
Yeah,
He's been doing good.
their defense has not been performing well, and then I don't know, the offense just can't seem to get anything started. It's funny because the other 2 teams that I had in mind were the Broncos and the Chargers.
Yeah, the Broncos have been. Russell Wilson is terrible right now. I don't know if this is just like we said at the beginning of the season, it's going to take some time. They're going to lose some games, but he's just not looking like himself right now.
It's just like, at what point are we going to say that it is Russell
and
Wilson's fault?
I think Nathaniel Hackett's also not a very good head coach. But I think the Broncos are really disappointing. The Ravens, they cannot perform in crunch time. They will lead for an entire game and then lose it at the
They've
end.
blown 2 fourth-quarter leads. Like, obviously, the big one was against the Dolphins, and then they were ahead by 10 against the Giants with, 6 minutes left.
And they
ended up
lost.
losing.
They've been very disappointing. The Rams, let's talk about the Rams for a sec. Matthew Stafford is not looking great this year at all. He's thrown, I think the stat was 8 picks in 6 games. I'm pretty sure that's right.
That's pretty bad.
That's very bad. That is atrocious. And I want to say at least 2 of those have been pick sixes as far as I know. At least 2.
I know for sure 1 because the one he had against the Panthers.
And then there was one against the Niners that I
okay,
remember.
so he has at least 2.
He didn't throw one with us, a pick six. No, he didn't.
He threw a pick, but not a pick 6. Yes, obviously the Rams. Everyone had high hopes for them because they had a lot of dudes coming back. Obviously, Cooper Kupp is coming off a stellar season. Same thing with Matthew Stafford, and then defensively, they stayed the same. Added Bobby Wagner, but they lost Von Miller. But I mean, still nothing too crazy there. So everyone was kind of expecting the same Rams team that we saw last year, and it's just not. Like, Aaron Donald has not been performing up to his standards.
No, it's been weird. The NFC is just, like we were saying before, they're just not good right now. And our best teams are out of our division, I'm pretty sure. It's like us.
I would say
It's the Eagles, it's us, the Giants right now.
I guess
for some
maybe
reason.
you could say the Giants because
They have a better record than us right now.
But see, I just don't. I still
I don't
just
see
don't
it
think the
lasting.
Giants are good, and I don't see the Eagles thing lasting either because I think the second half is going to come back to bite them eventually.
It's got to.
Mm-hmm.
I hope it does, but I don't know what to think. I've been shocked. I mean, like the Chiefs Bills game though, that was living up to everyone's expectations. Mm-hmm. That game was very good. Just a battle, a defensive battle, and then Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes they were cooking. And obviously, it came down to Patrick Mahomes throwing a pick to end the game, and the Bills, in my opinion, the better team won. Like the Bills are just insanely good this year.
They're by far the most sound team this year. The only thing was the game started a little bit shaky to me because you had the Bills driving down to the red zone and then they fumble off of that. Interesting. It was just a weird mishap because Josh Allen pitches it on the option, and his guy's not even looking. It hits him in the face, and then the Chiefs get it. And then
McKenzie.
The Chiefs drive down, and Mahomes throws a pick in the end zone.
A ball that should never have been thrown.
Yeah, he should have just thrown it away and just taken the field goal.
But it ended up being a thrilling game, and the Bills won. So I just think it's been such an interesting season because the teams that are supposed to be good, like the Bills and the Chiefs, they're good, but the rest of the teams that are supposed to be good are absolutely failing right now.
There's just
and I'm not including the Cowboys in that because the Cowboys are working through some quarterback issues at the moment because, let's face it, we knew Cooper Rush wasn't going to, remain undefeated. But
I still think he deserves a lot of credit.
He did a great job.
He has nothing to hang his head about. Obviously, he's 5-1 as a starter, 4-1 this season. He's given Dak plenty of time
to recover.
And all of that is due to his success because say he comes out week 2 and loses to the Bengals, well, maybe we're thinking, well, we got to rush Dak back because we might drop the next 4 games.
We won the games we were supposed to play
without
win.
Dak. Yeah.
Like with Cooper Rush. There was never like we beat the Giants.
We expected him to beat the Giants and the Commanders. And then
he did.
We knew that the Bengals-Rams, that could have gone either way
and we beat both of them.
And he ended up beating both of them.
And obviously the Eagles are a tough team to beat right now, and we were there. And our defense gave up 20 in the second quarter.
But they still took it to the last 2 minutes of the game.
Yeah, so I think Dak will be back, I think, for the next game against the Lions. And you can't really, count the Lions out. They are very good at scoring. Their defense is atrocious. So Dak hopefully will have a really good game to come back for them, but our defense needs to lock down. But I think the Cowboys should be okay. But my prediction is that we will have a season where we make it to the playoffs and lose first round. Mm-hmm. We are not looking like a Super Bowl team or even a division
Dak
round.
should come back prepared and more ready than ever because he's had all this time off. But then the other thing is we play Detroit at home, and then we get to play Chicago at home, and then we have a bye week.
Yes.
So
and then we play at
Lambeau.
Like
he gets 3 more weeks off. It's like 2 scrimmages and then a bye week, and then we go to Lambeau.
And his job is on the line now because Cooper Rush has shown that he can play quarterback. There's no guarantee Dak wins the game against Philly, even though Cooper Rush didn't. I don't even know if Dak would have. I really don't think he would have. So I am just saying his job is not guaranteed no matter how much money you're making. Jerry Jones has already said he'd love to see a competition. If Dak starts failing, they'll put Cooper Rush in. So,
because Cooper Rush has proved that he can win.
Is there ever... I'll say this. The only other time Dak was playing against some kind of competition from within the team was his rookie season when Tony Romo was coming back. And you were like, do you start Tony or Dak? Dak lit it up that season. Only 3 losses. So maybe now Dak will have some kind of pressure to perform, and that will enable him to be a lot better. Because we need something. I think the last few seasons there's been some fire missing because he's like, I'm the quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. We never had a better replacement.
Money that he is not worth at all.
Yeah, and we don't have a way to get another better quarterback than him. But now we do have one on the bench who's shown to be really good. And so Dak has now got to perform or he loses his job.
The other thing that surprised me is the second half Zeke that I saw, that was rookie Zeke.
That was rookie Zeke. Zeke came out to play Sunday night.
Yes, I was very, very impressed and very happy with his performance. Like, he played absolutely out of his mind. And if you've listened to our podcast at all, we have done a lot of dogging on Zeke, and I think he has done a good job so far this year to kind of fight against that.
He's looking more like aggressive because he usually dances behind the line, like waiting for the hole, and now he just like dives right in. He just
I would have to
goes for
think
it.
that it's partly him in his mind saying that, well, I mean, we have Tony Pollard, this guy who's a backup, and he's, you know, everyone wants to see this guy play. He's got a lot of talent and a lot of potential. So
Yeah, Tony Pollard is still really good
If I'm terrible, then I could very well lose my spot.
The thing that Zeke is also way better than Tony Pollard at is blocking. Tony Pollard cannot block. Zeke is a great blocking back.
Zeke is also not afraid to take on that screaming linebacker that comes in the gap. He's willing to just stick his head down and take a shot.
So,
and that's what I can appreciate.
Also, Zeke is in a contract year because his contract works out to where this was the last year where he gets a huge buyout if we cut him. So next year, like, we could cut him at the end of this year and not have to suffer for it. So he knows he's got to perform this year, and he's doing a great job so far. So hopefully he keeps it up, and Tony Pollard's been doing pretty well. So our running game's not been a problem. Hopefully our O-line can stay healthy. We are having a few, like, small injuries on that O-line.
We've seen some very small issues. I would say for the most part they've done well. The biggest issue in the game that I saw was that last interception that Cooper Rush threw. He had CeeDee Lamb wide open down the sideline, and he got hit as he was throwing it, so it was just this little duck that fluttered to the middle of the field, and the safety just came and made a great play on the ball. Also, I was thinking about this last night. We were very, very skeptical and critical in the offseason whenever we saw the Cowboys go out and get Kevontae Turpin, the USFL MVP. And I have to be honest, he has done pretty well as a returner.
He's a pretty lethal returner.
Like, he looks good. He looks quick. He hits the holes very hard. He looks like he knows what he's doing. So I have been very surprised with his performance. And
I think
he's been very apt.
The offseason players that we got, aside from James Washington, because I have yet to see James Washington take the field, they've been pretty decent. Like our draft guys, Tyler Smith's been doing very well. So we
got
drafted
a lot of
really
flack
well
for that one for most holding penalties.
Yeah, but he's been doing very well, and he's been limiting his penalties. And it's just we didn't make bigger moves, and we needed to make bigger moves, but the moves we made were pretty decent, so they've been paying off pretty well. I just think the Cowboys, we got to figure out what we're doing offensively. Defensively, we've got it covered. We know what our identity is. It's our defense. We know. We just have to remember, even when Dak comes back, our identity on our offense is running. We run the ball first and then throw it second. And Dak's going to come back and want to prove to everybody that he's fine. He's going to want to throw a bunch. But Dak is better. Here's a stat that I may have said before, but I'll say it again. In Dak's rookie season, the Cowboys led the league in rushing attempts, and Dak was amazing. This season, we also lead the league in rushing attempts, and we're still winning. So the Cowboys win when we run the ball.
If Dak wants to impress me, he doesn't need to be throwing for 350 yards a game because obviously that is impressive.
That's not Dak,
But when
though.
he tries for that, that's when he has all those interceptions and he comes up short, right? If he wants to impress me, what he needs to do is just win games.
You gotta do whatever you can to win. It's not about stat padding.
Win games, and I will be.
Also,
like, okay.
He has 300-yard games all the time, but they're mostly in garbage time when we're losing.
Yes, absolutely.
So we need to fix that. We need to get it back. Dak's going to come back. We're happy he's back. We just need him to play a little bit more like Cooper Rush in the fact that it's not always about throwing the ball. Just do what it takes to win the game like Cooper Rush has been doing. And we're excited to welcome Dak back. So let's talk about fantasy. Go into our short fantasy segment before we close.
Yep.
What a week in fantasy football.
It's been
a ride.
an interesting ride for sure this season. Quarterback wise,
I don't even know what to do with quarterbacks at this point. Josh Allen's the consistent one.
I mean, Joe Burrow came out and put up 33 out
Yep.
of nowhere. Obviously, like you said, Josh Allen, he's been playing the same.
Russell Wilson's been consistent in the fact that he has not been doing anything.
He's been getting like less than 10
Yep.
every week.
And
One big waiver wire pickup this past week was Deion Jackson, and I'd like to highlight that because that's who I snagged.
Okay.
Stuck him in at flex at the last second. He ended up getting 28 points. I was
Man.
so happy when that happened.
Man, I think that right now running backs are few and far between. There's none of them on the waiver wires, and everybody's getting hurt. So it's tough right now. The running back position, they seem to all be taken.
Well, because like
So
you
if you're
have
not-
your very few really good guys, and then there's just the drop off of
Yes.
everyone else.
So
Like there's no middle of the pack.
if you don't have one of the few good ones, it's tough. Receivers are the same way. Receivers are. It's just been so. It's been an interesting year. Like, you can't count on certain receivers anymore like you could before.
Stephon Diggs has been pretty
He's been very
consistent.
consistent. It's all about the quarterback play.
Yeah.
Obviously, Cooper Kupp, he's just getting targets, so
'cause
he's going to do
Cooper
well.
Kupp.
Devontae Adams,
I would say Tyreek Hill, he's been pretty consistent as well.
Jalen Waddle's been pretty good too.
Mm-hmm.
Dolphins. Speaking of Dolphins, Tua is coming back. He
Yes.
will be back on Sunday night against the Steelers. So I was on Dolphins hiatus for a little bit because he was hurt. Obviously, I don't think the Dolphins are going to win with Skylar Thompson as their quarterback. But now that he's back, we'll get back on the Dolphins train and hope for their success. But yeah, they've been pretty good. But other than that, receiver-wise, it's been very up and down.
I feel like it's kind of the same thing with tight ends as well.
Yep.
It's the same thing that it's always
You got
been.
a few good guys.
You've
and-
got. I wouldn't even put Kittle up there anymore necessarily because he hasn't been producing and he hasn't been playing a lot of games this year.
I would say there are really
It's
only two.
it's Kelsey, Andrews, and I think that's it.
That's it. Because Hawkinson had one good week, but other than that, he's been pretty bad.
Kyle
So-
Pitts has been meh. Tyler Higbee played
Dalton Schultz has
decent
been
this
absolutely
week,
terrible.
but same thing with Dallas Goedert. He's had a couple good weeks here and there, but once again, nothing special.
So
The struggle continues in fantasy.
it's been a crazy year. Nothing's been really consistent, and we keep like waiting for it to be better, but it just every week is a toss up. Like I've had weeks where I'm like at 150 overall. I've had weeks that I'm like not even breaking 100, and I know everyone's been having that. So with fantasy, you just gotta. It's all about at this point with the bye weeks and everything. You've got to snag the waiver wire picks, and you just have to know targets wise, quarterbacks.
It's just so difficult because you try and make these like educated decisions and they just don't pan out.
Yeah, it's tough, but that's what fantasy is. So stick with it, and
You just got to learn to deal with it, all right? Your time everyone's time will come, okay? Your time will come.
yes,
All right, it's week 6. It is a long season. Your time will come.
there are still 8 weeks left in the regular season for fantasy, so that's plenty of time. We're not even halfway yet, so
You're chilling. Just keep grinding. Keep researching.
Keep at it.
And keep listening to our podcast so that you can gain all of this knowledge.
and if you ever have any questions, we will always be happy to help. Reach out to us. But that is our fantasy segment.
Yes. So, here as we like to end our shows on Under Review, I've brought to you an inspirational quote from the great Chuck Noll. The critics are always right. The only way you shut them up is by winning.
Facts.
And that's what everyone needs to take to heart, okay? Especially you, Dak. You have all these critics. Everyone telling you this, that, and the other. You're not good enough. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Just win. That's all we're
win.
asking for.
If you start winning, everybody loves you.
Exactly.
So do that, and you'll be fine. And we will keep doing that here at Under Review.
Absolutely.
Because we are winners. Thank y'all for tuning in this week. It's been a good episode. We will see y'all next week with more from the NFL and college football like we always bring you every week.
Yes, sir.
Signing off for now. See you next time.